Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and today we have certified trainer, corrective exercise therapist, sport nutritionist, and author Michelle Carlson on the show. Welcome, Michelle. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm wonderful.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in the health and fitness industry?
I had a childhood and upbringing that was not very healthy. My parents didn't really know a lot about how to eat right. We ate a lot of processed foods. My mom and dad both worked, so my mom just kind of cooked on the fly, whatever she could find. And she was a chronic dieter, raised by a chronic dieter. And because of all of that, plus my own self-image issues that I had, I ended up with a lot of weight fluctuations. And by the time I was 23, I was obese. I weighed over 256 pounds. And when I had gone in for a screening, a cancer screening, because my mom had passed away from cancer, there was a sweet doctor who told me that I needed to change my lifestyle or else I would be another statistic. And so it started with walking, and then just through a series of life events, I met a yoga teacher who talked me into becoming a yoga teacher. After that, I started getting certified in more group workouts and stuff, and after that, personal training and the nutrition, and it all really snowballed from there. And now, I love to learn more and more about it because it's always changing, and there's always more that we can offer people in the world of health and fitness and nutrition.
I'm sorry to hear that about your mother.
Oh, thank you so much.
You overcame not one but two eating disorders. Tell me about
Yes.
what that was like and how you overcame them.
When I was a teenager, I had what the doctor termed as, it was a precursor to anorexia, but they used the term exercise anorexia. So what I would do is if I ate anything, I remember distinctively being in the kitchen one day. This was when my mom started to get really worried. And I had like a little 4-ounce glass of milk. And as soon as I drank it, I went to my bedroom and I would work out for 30 minutes because I had to work off what I had just taken in. And it's a psychological issue where we start to think that anything we take in is going to turn into fat. And so we feel like we have to overwork the body. And because of that, I had a lot of complications that I still deal with. I still deal with chronic inflammation, arthritis, and things that probably would not have come up if I'd have taken better care of my body. And then I also dealt with food obsession a little bit later on, probably when I was actually when I started the health and fitness industry and I was just teaching group classes, I started becoming obsessed about what food was good and what was bad. And I would cut out everything that I thought had the remote possibility of putting fat on my body. And so I had a lot of foods that were just no foods. They weren't allowed in the house. I wouldn't allow myself to eat them. If I ever even wanted them, I felt guilty about it. And so it was this obsession over foods that I thought I couldn't eat. And that one, it took going through several courses. I changed my major in nutrition to nutrition science. And as I was going through that, you start to learn and your mind starts to open up that there's no real good and bad food. Food, it all just does different things within the body. And the body craves variety, and it can also do wonderful things if you don't starve it and neglect it and deprive it all the time. And opening my mind up to that helped me be able to reverse diet my way out of chronic diets and start to accept more foods. And now my diet is extremely varied. I don't feel deprived at all, and I can maintain my weight really, really well.
Great to hear that. And there's also been a time in your life where you went through depression and had low self-esteem. Self-esteem,
Yes.
self-love, and body image are topics that keep coming back on the show. What's your take on this?
I think that a lot of women suffer from low self-esteem, just not thinking that we're worthy, not thinking that we're worth the time. Sometimes we just kind of think that this is our lot in life. And a lot of times it's just because we're believing that lie that's in our head, and how it gets there, I really don't know. It could be images in a magazine. It could be something that was said to you when you were a little girl. We don't really know how those thoughts get there, but it's this untruth that we just hold on to. And what I work with clients on is I tell them we have to pull that lie out into the open and expose it to some light where it can no longer survive, because those dark places don't survive well in the light. So we have to confront those lies that we believe. We need to, I have clients, we write them down. And for every lie that we have, such as, I'm too overweight to do this particular sport, or maybe I'll try when I lose 10 pounds because I'm just not there yet, or I'll never get to where I want to be. Those kinds of things, I have them write them down. And for everyone that they write down, they write two truths. So in other words, if they think that they're too overweight to try a new class or do something new, I'll have them write that down. And the truth is, everybody starts somewhere. And there's nobody that started off as an expert in their field. And so they write that down, and then they refer to that day in and day out so that they start to seed themselves with the truth instead of believing those lies.
Great exercise.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you wrote to me that you found healing and purpose over the past decade. I love how you highlighted the fact that it's been a decade and not a six-week program. What have been some key moments in your journey this far?
For one thing, I really got outside of myself when I traveled. My first trip to Moldova was about 3 years ago to help young ladies who had been trafficked. And I taught them how to fight, which fighting is a passion of mine that I got into about 7 years ago. And it was intriguing, and it's so cleansing and healing to be able to step outside of yourself and to look at other people and to see what they're going through and to realize that you have something that they need. And if you let yourself be bound by fear, fear of the unknown, fear of, what if what I have doesn't help, things like that, then people tend to stay stuck in the same place. Not only do you stay stuck, but the people that you could be helping stay stuck as well. So that was a huge one. After that, I also got the chance to travel to Ethiopia for the same purpose. And those have been two really big things. I got to take my kids on both of those, which was huge. And that, plus being able to work within the community with boot camps and workshops and trying to show people that they can really do much more than they give themselves credit for, and trying to teach them to celebrate the small victories instead of always thinking, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And I think if we learn to celebrate the little things, then before you know it, you're to the big thing before you ever even realize it.
Now you're taking everything that you've learned and are helping others overcome similar challenges. What drives you to wanting to help others?
Really, I'm just trying in my own small way to change the fabric of the world, in particular starting with young girls. I have a passion for that because of what I went through as a young girl, and because I also have a 13-year-old girl. And so I wanted that cycle to break with her, so that she didn't have to go through all of the self-doubting and low self-esteem. And there are things that come up that, yes, they do grow us, but I think there is so much that we could just bypass if we realize those that are mothers, a lot of young girls get their self-esteem from how their mothers think about themselves, not what they tell their girls, but how they actually treat themselves and think about themselves. And so what drives me to get out of bed every day and, write and teach and everything is that I really do believe that the stuff that I've been through and the knowledge that I've gained will help people. Even if it's just one person, I totally think it's worth it.
I love it. You're doing such a great job, Michelle.
Thank you.
And many women struggle to find their path and their purpose. How does one go about carving their own path? And what is the first step if you have no idea where to start?
That is something everybody always asks. It's like, how do I find my purpose? I think it's one of those things that if you spend time, quiet time is a big thing. And I think a lot of us don't do it. We wake up in the morning and we've got a to-do list of a million things. And it's like we roll out of bed, we're on the caffeine, and we're going. You're getting your kids places, or you're going to work, or both. And I think carving out just a few minutes, it can start with just 2 or 3 minutes of just quiet solitude to just allow the mind to rest and settle, and allow yourself to be opened up to what you might notice, what's going on in life and things like that, because we all do have something to contribute. And I think when we allow ourselves to get too busy, we don't realize what it is we contribute because we just go through the motions. So having that quiet time, having breaks in life every once in a while where you can unplug, I'm a big believer in unplugging from social media every once in a while, just because it helps with that comparison trap that we can get into. And if we just take just a few hours for some people or a whole day, for others, just to unplug and not worry about that part so that we can focus more on honing our craft and our skills because you were given those talents to share with others.
And your approach is not focused on a single aspect either. You focus on a holistic lifestyle approach to achieving goals. Tell me a little bit about that.
I think that we compartmentalize a lot of stuff usually. We tend to think of work as one department of life and family as one department, and then, health is one department, and so on and so forth. When in reality, it all lines up together. If you've got something, I know everybody can usually relate. If something is off at work, it's usually going to leak over to your family. It can leak over to your health. You start getting sick a lot and things like that. And so the holistic approach is to figure out what works best for the whole of life. So it's not always about what that 6-week goal is. What it's about is what would my healthiest life look like on all aspects, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually.
You also wrote your guide to lasting weight loss, the Little Fit book. What's that about and who is it for?
The Guide to Lasting Weight Loss tells a little bit about my story and just how I got started in fitness and what I learned about all of the wrong turns I took to losing weight, because I did lose over 100 pounds, but it took me over 6 years to do that because I took a lot of wrong turns. I was a vegetarian for a while, which didn't work for me. It does work for some. But the only reason why I did it is because I knew vegetarians were skinny, and at the time, that's all I wanted. And so this book just walks you through the very simple steps of weight loss, especially if you have quite a bit to lose. It's for those that are a little scared off by the gym. They, just don't think that any of that's really attainable to them or anything. So that's a great starter book for anybody. The Little Fit book was designed for ladies who have an event coming up, or they want to get in good shape for a reunion or something special at work or the holidays or summer. And what this does is it's a lot of the little tips and tricks from the insider industry, from competing in photo shoots and everything, all healthy. I don't go too drastic, but there are ways that we know you can help the body to tighten up and slim down in a smaller time frame. And then it also has a video of my favorite toning moves as well as a free workout with it.
Tell me about your work around bringing more awareness around human trafficking.
That started about 3 years ago. I was my kids were reading on the floor, and I just had that overwhelming feeling because I kept hearing about it. There were some awareness campaigns going on in our city, and I kept hearing about it. And, I kept thinking, man, somebody should do something about that. That's horrific. And while I was sitting on my couch, just the overwhelming thought came over me that it could have very well been my kids. But I was blessed that it wasn't, and so I needed to then go out and try to help. And so I do travel overseas to work with victims directly, but I also travel around the United States trying to speak up more and bring a lot more just awareness, because it is all over the world. I think a lot of people, when they think of trafficking, they think, oh, that's way far away from me. It'll never happen close to here. But in reality, it is a multi-billion-dollar business. These are smart people that are running it, and it is literally all over. And so the more awareness that we have, then the harder that's going to be for them to keep that business going.
That's really great, Michelle.
Thank you.
Where can people go to learn more about you and connect with you online?
I have a website that I keep a running blog, about my gym adventures, as well as anything pertaining to nutrition and weight loss and all of that. And that is at www.michellecfitness.com. You can also find me on Twitter under Michelle C. Fit, and I am all over Instagram on Michelle C. Fitness.
Great. I also make sure to put your links below this video.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about today that you feel we've missed?
I think we've hit pretty much everything. But I would encourage anybody that has any questions, please feel free to contact me. There's a contact page on the website. If you're interested in knowing more about trafficking, please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to talk to you.
It was great having you on the show, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Khalladi. For more inspiration, check out our website at realtalkrealwomen.com.